Yes, this video is going to be in response to Scott Adams's videos, or a video in particular his poo-pooing of climate change. Yes, we have to talk about climate change again, even though we've known for 30 years now, 30 years, even that climate change is occurring. It's getting hotter. Global warming. You could call it global warming or climate change. I like to call it global warming because the globe is getting warmer. The average global temperature is getting warmer and warmer and warmer. And let's see, the hottest year on record now was what, 2016? 2 years ago? And this has been the hottest decade since we've been keeping records since 1800. So there isn't any. I don't understand Scott Adams' position on the data. I thought he was an engineer, and before he became a cartoonist. I don't know, but the data is overwhelming that the Earth has been warming for the last 150 years, and in those 150 years, the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and this is not complicated chemistry. This is carbon dioxide, CO2. The amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has gone up from, I think, 115 or 215 parts per million, something around there, 220 parts per million, up to, we're now at 400 parts per million. Actually 410, I think, is the latest. 410 parts per million. That's a huge increase in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere because mankind has been burning coal and gas. Coal and oil, and burning wood to a certain extent, but mostly coal and petroleum, fossil fuel, petroleum, for the last 100 years. And that's how many billion? We're now at 7 billion people. So if you've got half of 7 billion burning, doing cars, driving cars, using electricity, flying airplanes, every single day we're dumping tons and tons, 1 million tons of carbon dioxide every day into the atmosphere. I don't know why this is so hard for Scott Adams to understand. We are loading up the atmosphere with carbon dioxide. And here Scott might want to find, this is a little interesting side note, I guess you could say. There would be even more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere if it were not being taken up, being dissolved into the oceans. The oceans, maybe Scott doesn't know this, but the oceans are what is called ocean acidification, because when you dissolve carbon dioxide into the ocean water, which is what's happening, the carbon dioxide is going from the atmosphere. The carbon dioxide that the humans dump into the atmosphere is now being dissolved into ocean water, and the Earth is mostly ocean. There's more ocean than there is land, Scott. So the excess carbon dioxide is being dissolved into the oceans, fortunately in the sense that there would be even more carbon in the atmosphere, and we would be having more of a greenhouse effect were it not for the oceans taking up the carbon. Unfortunately, there's problems with the oceans taking up carbon because it changed the pH level it changes the pH in the ocean water, which affects shellfish and fish and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get into that. But let me just go over quickly for Scott, if he's puzzled by this bizarre notion of the greenhouse effect and global warming. This has been around, this theory has been around since the 1800s, quite a while. This is not a new thing. And it wasn't invented by Al Gore. It wasn't invented a couple decades ago by Al Gore. No, it was proposed. I think in the middle 1800s, 1850. That's when they discovered the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide acts as a blanket. It reflects the infrared radiation back to Earth. And then the first calculation was done by a physicist in 1896. So this is rather old. This is kind of an old theory. It's not from the 1900s. No, it's 1896 was the first calculation done by Svante Arrhenius is his name. He's a Swedish physicist, and he calculated. He knew that we were burning coal at that point, late 1800s. The world, advanced countries were burning coal for heat and for steam engines, etc. And he wondered, well, if mankind keeps burning coal at this rate, and the atmosphere, the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere would double, which would affect the heat of the whole entire planet. And I think he calculated that if you doubled the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, the global temperature would go up by 1.5 C or 2 C. I'm not quite sure on